Since the start of the 20th century, biological and chemical weapons has posed a great threat to mankind in different battles and warfare. What has countries across the world done to combat these risks? Hello and welcome to UPSC History View. Today, let's learn about the Geneva Gas Protocol. The Geneva Gas Protocol, which in full terms means the Protocol for the Prohibition of the Use in War of Asphyxiating, poisonous or other gases and of bacteriological methods of warfare in international law treaty signed in 1925 by most of the world's countries banning the use of chemical and biological weapons in warfare, was drafted at the 1925 Geneva Conference as part of a series of measures designed to avoid repetition of the atrocities committed by the belligerents in World War I. Building on several treaties that had ended World War I, notably the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 between the Allies and Germany, the Geneva Gas Protocol specifically prohibited the use in war of asphyxiating, poisonous or other gases and bacteriological weapons. The protocol did not ban the development, production or stockpiling of such weaponry, however. For that reason, the protocol was later supplemented by the Biological Weapons Convention or BWC of 1972 and the Chemical Weapons Convention CWC of 1993. Let's take a look at the background of the Geneva Gas Protocol. The widespread use of asphyxiating gas during World War I ushered in a new era of human-inflicted mass destruction and greatly alarmed the international community. The peace treaties that the victorious Allies signed with defeated Germany, Austria, Bulgaria, and Hungary signaled a strong recognition of the immense danger that chemical and biological weapons represented. The 1925 Geneva Conference, organized by the League of Nations, which was the predecessor to the United Nations, took those treaties one step further. At the initiative of the United States, France, and Poland, the participant countries at the conference drafted what came to be known as the Protocol for the Prohibition of the Use in War of Asphyxiating, Poisonous or Other Gases and of Bacteriological Methods of Warfare. The protocol was signed and ratified by many countries in the years before World War II. The United States, however, did not officially ratify the protocol until 1975, although it considered itself bound by the ban throughout the war and abided by the signatories' call for the protocol to become part of international law, binding alike the conscience and the practice of nations. Let's take a look at the limitations of the Geneva Gas Protocol. Since its inception in 1925, the Geneva Gas Protocol had been an important piece of international legislation, and most countries in the world have officially recognized it, including all countries that have a known capability to produce chemical and biological weapons. The limitations of the protocol, however, became evident soon after the Geneva Conference. At the time of its signing, several major powers, including the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union, explicitly reserved the right to use the forbidden weapons for retaliatory purposes. In other words, should a state decide to use chemical or bacteriological weapon against another country, in full defiance of the stipulations of the protocol, the country under attack would legally be allowed to respond in kind. Also, the 1925 document failed to address the production, storage, testing, and transfer of the forbidden weapons, a failure that allowed countries such as the Soviet Union and the United States to amass large supplies of chemical and bacteriological agents. Despite its obvious inadequacies, the protocol remains the legal foundation for a long series of multilateral treaties dealing with the threat that weapons such as mustard gas and anthrax represent. Thank you for listening to this discussion on the Geneva Gas Protocol. For more such discussions, get the UPSC Practice app from the App Store.